Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers, sisters, viewers, and friends of Ikra TV. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host, Iqbal Bana. Over the last few weeks, as I did last week as well, we have seen these horrific scenes of mayhem, murder, destruction of innocent people in Gaza and surrounding areas as well. For the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about the situation, and we've seen really horrendous scenes coming over from Gaza, where innocent people are being murdered every day, especially children, women, and elderly as well. Even hospitals, which are supposed to be the safest places in the world, have been destroyed by this indiscriminate attacks by the Israeli Defense Force. Now, as I said last week and the previous week as well, this channel does not support the murder of any innocent people at all, and we condemn what happened on the 7th of October. Islam does not allow innocent people to be killed in any shape, way or form, and the attack by Hamas, did not follow the tenets of Islam at all. Although we have to take this into context, and this is where I think the right-wing press and the right-wing media have tried to disassociate from the reality of what has been happening over the last 75 years. Now, I've said last week that we will continue to talk about this issue. I want to talk about what can we as Muslim people do in this country. How do we respond? Particularly when you hear leaders like our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and the leader of the Labour Party failing to ask for a ceasefire so humanitarian aid can go in, on the pretext that if they did that, the lull would allow Hamas to strengthen their positions and continue to carry out with their attacks. Now, finally, we have seen that the Labour Party leader has started to change his tune from the first day when he said that Israel has the right to defend itself. And we accept that Israel has the right to defend itself. But we also know that over the last 75 years, particularly in the last 15 years, we have seen waves of Israeli settlers throwing out people who've lived on their land, in their homes, indiscriminately, and telling them to pack up overnight and disappear. In that situation, you can understand why the Palestinians wanted to fight for the right to have their own piece of land and justice, and to protect themselves as well. Today, I want to continue this discussion from last week. We had a few phone calls last week. I'm hoping that you will also phone again today and share your thoughts. But to help me in this discussion, I've got some really eminent friends with me, one of whom is no stranger to this channel, no stranger to you in your homes. He has been on my program on a number of occasions, and his name is Maqsood Ahmed. As I said, he's previously worked as the most senior advisor to the Home Secretary on Equality and Diversity. He's had a number of senior posts in government as well as in the public sector. He was, the last time I saw him, not in this channel, but before that, he was the chief executive of the British Muslim Heritage Centre in Manchester, which, as you probably have seen on my program, is a place that everybody needs to visit, particularly with your young kids. He now works as an independent consultant, running leadership programs, etc., in Manchester for young people. So Maqsood, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, welcome on my program. And joining him is a young sister called Laiba Khan. She's Bradford born, is a businesswoman in Bradford, who with other colleagues has shown some passion about what is happening. And I have asked her to come and join me today in her capacity as a young person as well as an activist to share her thoughts as well. So both of you, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to my program. Maqsood, thank you for coming all the way across the Pennine on a miserable day like this. But I'm really grateful, and I'm sure my viewers will be extremely grateful for you to come over as well. Laiba, it's your first time here.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
I hope you'll enjoy while you're here. Now, as a young person, you've seen the attacks that have been taking place from the 7th onwards, totally indiscriminate attacks on the grounds that they want to destroy Hamas. But in the process, over 12,000 people have been killed. Many young children have been killed and maimed. We saw this brutal attack on an ambulance. So now they're justifying it by saying that the Hamas leadership were traveling in the ambulance, and therefore that's why they targeted it. They've actually bombed refugee centers. The Israeli Defense Force and the Israeli government has asked people to move into so-called safe areas, and when people have moved there, they've actually used aircraft to strike on them, those centers. as a young people, how do you, as a young person, when you see these scenes, how does it make you feel? I mean, for older people like me, it makes my blood boil.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
No different than you, honestly. It is absolutely devastating, heartbreaking. I've had trauma. There was days that I could not sleep, and I would cry all night. It's so sensitive to my heart. My friend's currently in Gaza. He's a close friend of mine for 3 years, Joe.
I hope he's safe, inshallah.
I message him every night. Just before I came on the show, he wanted to pass a message on, and I wanted to deliver this to the audience watching.
Yes, please do.
Please don't stop talking about Gaza. Please do not stop, because if we weren't making a difference, our posts wouldn't be censored. Everything makes a difference. If you cannot donate, get involved in charities, help to raise money. If you cannot do that, help to speak on the issue, whether you have a large platform or a small platform. Please do not stop speaking, because there's a lot of people who are misinformed about this situation, and we cannot blame them for this. Many people do not know the truth, and it's our responsibility to get this truth across to them.
Right.
I think
you feel that the media is manipulating the information?
I think the media only shows what fits their narrative, the propaganda, and that is at the moment, do you condemn Hamas, is one of the narratives and propagandas they like to discuss very often, especially on these talk shows. I mean, we at Hamas, we definitely condemn, like you've said, our religion does not teach us to hurt even an insect. So we definitely condemn the loss of any innocent lives, and this has been said over and over, but they refuse to understand, and this has been an opening question to kind of manipulate and bring fear to people. It's a very complicated question, very complex question, and when this question has been asked, there is no reply to this, which just shows that this is the biased media and hypocritical media. And this is basically what fits their narrative. And this is the thing that frustrates me the most, is people don't know about this situation. And when I've seen, as a young person on TikTok, on Instagram, there's been many comments from mainly the British young people who have asked about the crisis and what's going on. And in respect to that, people usually comment and start argumentative comments, and I think that's really wrong of us to do, just because it's our responsibility to tell them the truth. And I'm going to be making some points about the truth of how this started.
Yeah, please do. But can I?
In the future.
Do you feel that emotion that you've just shared with us?
Yeah.
That is permeating most of the young people that you come across? Do they feel the same way?
I think many youngsters, I'm so happy to see this. It brings a lot of peace to my heart when I open up my phone, and it brings somewhat peace to my heart to see the youngsters standing up, and we must stand up because we are the future, with all respect to you, of course.
Thank you very much.
It's very important that we stand up, because our voices matter. The young people are doing absolutely amazing. I think it's amazing the diversity we've got all over these platforms. Every single background, people are studying Islam, opening the Quran. People admire their bravery, the bravery of the Palestinian people. I myself, as a Muslim, my iman is so. They've strengthened my iman to the extent I cannot explain to you. Nothing matters. It's amazing, and I think everyone is seeing that, and that is the best part about this, that the world is opening their eyes, not just as Muslims, but the non-Muslims that have been opening the Quran, many non-Muslims, and the way Islam is portrayed through the Palestinian people, because the resistance and the passion and the level of iman they have is absolutely, I cannot even comprehend.
It's
phenomenal, absolutely
they've been
phenomenal.
Defending their land for the last 75 years. Maqsood, I presume some of the stuff that Laiba shared with us, we used to feel like that 40 years ago, passionate about things. We've been battling this for so many years, as Laiba said. Do you feel that young people have totally lost faith in the media now?
Yes, definitely.
Or the mainstream media?
Definitely. I think not just us, every single person. Definitely, this is the truth, that the media will definitely just show you what fits their narrative and propaganda. They're biased. It's not true what you see on the news. Everyone has come to the realisation of that, thankfully. Everywhere I see in the comments or on social media, no one goes to the news because the news is a big, massive lie. I personally would never watch the news just because of the history, like the Iraq war, the conflict in Palestine that has been ongoing for the amount of years, 75 years. It's never been shown in a light that it should have. And that's exactly why we don't believe the news. Many young people agree with me, I'm sure, definitely what I've been seeing, yeah.
Maqsood, coming to you, obviously, you and I have seen this over and over again in the past. Now, this has been happening every few years. Israel attacks the Palestinians on some sort of pretext, as we say, and they ignore the last 75 years of hurt that they've been inflicting on the people of Palestine, and particularly in Gaza. I mean, when you first saw this, what were your thoughts? I know I'm obviously like Laiba and myself and millions of others. You must have been horrified by it.
Sleepless nights, to be honest with you. Seeing young people being bombed, collective punishment for young people, women and children, hospitals, schools, ambulances. It's absolutely outrageous. You know, for me, it begins to haunt people. I think the issues around mental health of people who see this on a regular basis is increased tenfold. And it's just unbearable to see innocent human beings on both sides. Are you with me when you see that? That's happening. And you're right, it's been going on 75 years. And sad thing is, Iqbal Bhai, it will continue. It's not going to stop. We need a complete new leadership around the world. We need people, the leaders who are actually working towards peace. One advice I would give, if I may give to young people, including our young sister here who's with us today, is basically to get involved in politics, peaceful politics. We need a new generation of young people to take the mantle to do the fairness and justice in politics. Politicians have failed us, Iqbal Bhai. And therefore, when they failed us, we failed the policy because they don't understand the policy. You heard me say this. You know, I feel like a broken record. The people, the right wing, are progressing this agenda very heavily. Bombardment, collective punishment, terminology, the narrative. They are winning the war not only on political side, they're winning the war on the media
side as well.
They're winning the war on other areas.
Yeah. We're going for a break, unfortunately. I mean, we'd like to share, if you'd like to share your thoughts as well, the phone number is 01274 214 299. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Unfortunately, as I hear, we're going for a break now. We'll be back with you very soon. But as Maqsood said, I want to pick up this point about young people and politics and how we can now start looking at our role in shaping the politics of this country as well. So inshallah, don't go away. As I say, have a break, make yourself a tea, coffee, faluda, whatever it is that you enjoy. Join me soon, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.